something. Why? What?
Oh yes, so here we go, we've got the Jurassic Park collection on the Dreamcast. Now what does this encapsulate? Yes, we got programs, we got movies, we've got sound, we got pictures. Pictures is, as always, the credits, which is great because it also means you get to see who's actually been involved in all of the different kind of emulation and kind of thanks and things like that. As well as that, we've got soundtracks, which, I'm not going to lie, I do really love the original Jurassic Park game soundtrack on the Genesis. So here we go, we've also got the videos as well, which, as you can imagine, the trailers are always a massive hit with these collections, and, you know, makes sense, really.
Imagine, you wake up in Jurassic Park and you're a raptor. You have sharp teeth and 7-inch claws, and since you've been extinct for 65 million years, you'd be in a really bad mood.
So first up, let's take a look at the fact that you've got all of these different systems here. SNES, Sega Master System, NES, Game Gear, you name it, it's pretty much here. The great thing is, obviously with the intros, is it does also give the rundown on how to return to menu, which is something you're probably going to want to know. But this is it, straight off the bat, this is Lost World on Super Nintendo, which I've got to say, until now, I've never actually played. I believe it came up in an AVGN video maybe at some point. And that's really the only way I know this game. I've actually got to say, it's actually not too bad. I actually quite like the animations. I actually think the backgrounds and everything, it all really looks really nice. And works very well on the Sega Dreamcast to the point where I can't see any slowdown at all. If you haven't played it, it's certainly one to check out in this collection. Now, see, the Game Boy ones are the ones that I've never played before this point, and I've got to say, I'm actually really darn impressed. I actually didn't expect to see this kind of sort of sprite animation almost on the main character. I thought it would just not look good, it just wouldn't play well, but for the 8-bit kind of monochrome game, let's say, I'm actually quite impressed. You can see exactly where you're going, the items are clear, and the enemies are all there. And also, it does give you that kind of, not Metroidvania, but I guess to a certain point, you are going back and forwards, you are collecting eggs, and yes, you'll probably die a few times from the dinosaurs, but I gotta say, they're not that hard. Although, to be fair, I just wasn't very good at it. Now, the other one here is the Genesis games, and yes, my favourite. This date, that will remain my favourite intro to any Jurassic Park game on any system, but I actually think this one even looks the best. Yes, some people would say yes, the Super Nintendo game looks better, but I wouldn't agree with that, and I actually quite like the fact that, as it used to be, every different format had a different style of game created for it, because it was often done by different game studios. So this is the one that I obviously fell in love with, and then you've also got the Rampage edition, which is also in this collection, but for me it's still the first one, the one we play right now, but really does it for me when I think of a Jurassic Park game. Yes, you've got a nice access to loads of different type of dart guns, you've got some grenades, you've got even an electricity gun, which all work and have different types of power, let's say. Some are just stronger than others. You obviously play as Alan Grant, which makes sense, but you don't actually see any of the other characters, which does seem a little bit strange, but it does have virtually all of the dinosaurs you can think of, including the T-Rex, pretty much making it into every single level, bar the first one. Next up, we've got the Sega Master System title of Jurassic Park. Now this again is very, very different. Now you can see the hardware limitations are very real with this, but it tries to do something again slightly different. This is how consoles really should be. They should always be trying to do something slightly different on each system, meaning you'd probably want to get the different game for each system, if that makes sense at all. And obviously all of these start with kind of little road missions. You got to shoot flying dinosaurs, you got your T-Rex chasing you, all different scenarios depending on what area you wanted to start in. So see, what you can see here is you really are just firing up into the sky and just praying for dear life, and also jumping over boulders. Obviously the jump is auto, but obviously when you shoot some of those flying dinosaurs, you will also collect things like fuel, which is great. But when you get slightly further on, yes, they're going to start throwing boulders at you. They essentially become like mini bosses straight off the bat. But obviously once you've done that, you get out of your vehicle, and then you're on foot. Now you'll be interested to know that the Sega Game Gear version and Master System, they are pretty similar. Now obviously the Game Gear version is just very zoomed in, and the main character isn't Alan Grant. In fact, it's a character I'm not really sure I'm even aware of. But both very, very similar games. In fact, I think the levels are identical, but again, Game Gear is zoomed in. But hey, it's doing what it can do with the hardware limitations, and I actually really do quite like the Master System game. I think it's fun. Yes, it's not the 16-bit Jurassic Park game, but nonetheless one you probably still want to check out. What am I saying? You're probably going to want to check them all out. As always though, let me know what you think. Like, comment and subscribe. It's Alex signing out.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. As well as that, you can also back the channel on Patreon. QR code is down below. But obviously you can check out this video, you can also check out that video. And on that note, it's Al signing out.